Alright guys, molweni, I'm guessing niyaphila nonke. Alright guys, as we've been dealing with teaching most of the previous videos, we're gonna be based on questions in our previous question papers. Alright, without wasting any time, let's start with 5.1. As you can see, this is hyperbola with asymptotes and straight line without asymptote. Okay, the first question, which is 5.1, is asking us to write down the equations of asymptote of f. Alright, the restrictions of this graph. This is the only graph with asymptote. The first equation is going to be y equals to this number 2, which is 2 in this case. Is going to be y equals to 2. Alright. It's going to be y equals to 2. And the second equation is going to be x equals to 3, not negative 3. Remember, we said on the previous note that if we have positive here, our asymptote is going to be negative. If we have negative here, it's going to be positive. So it's going to be x equals to positive 3. Y equals to, because they are asking for an equation have equal signs. If they were asking for the value of asymptotes, we're going to say it's 2 and 3. Y is y or horizontal asymptote is 2 and vertical asymptote is 3, but they're asking for equation, so the answer would be y is equal to 2 and x is equal to 3. Right. Second one, they're asking for x-intercept of f of x, which is this graph. Alright, so what do we do to get this value? I mean the x-intercept of this one. Okay, let's do here. As you know that we are given this graph, we have 4 here, x minus 3 plus 2. But for f of x, we know that this has to be 0. 0 is equal to 4 over x minus 3 plus 2. Right, so we can take this to this side. Minus 2 equals to 4 over x minus 3. We can just interchange these two. Right, so we have x minus 3 equals to 4 over minus 2. This is same as minus 2, right? X minus 3 equals to minus 2. We cross this to that side. X is equal to 1, right? So that means our x-intercept is 1. This is our answer, right? So we are done with the first one. Should be first. The second one, they're asking us to sketch the graph of f and g. Okay, and g, okay, for g we know that the y-intercept is going to be 2 because this is c. Okay, what about x-intercept? It's also obvious because from the given equation, because here is going to be 0. If we cross 2 to this side, it's going to be negative 2, meaning x-intercept as well as negative 2. Okay, let's plot this graph. We have this sketch, right, x and y, and we know that for g of x, our y-intercept is 2. We just take it from the graph, direct from the graph. And for f of x, our y-intercept, we haven't determined the y-intercept, but we're still gonna determine it, no problem. Asymptote, we have asymptote here, or horizontal asymptote at 2, because we said our equation of asymptote is y equals to 2 and x equals to 3. Right, so x-intercept x I mean vertical asymptote is gonna be at 3 in this case, so it's gonna go here. Okay, but looking at the graph here, you can see that your A is positive. What does that mean? It means that our graph was gonna be on the third quadrant and the third quadrant and the first quadrant. Okay, let's go back here. Our first quadrant is now here. It means that we won't have any intersection here. We just have this graph or naked graph here, right? The second graph has to move here. The second piece of a graph has to move here. Do you see now it has to cut both y-intercept and x-intercept? And we know that for x-intercept it's going to cut at 1. We know that it's going to cut at 1. What about y-intercept? Let's determine y-intercept here. For y-intercept, we know that y is going to be y equals to 4 over 0 instead of x minus 3 plus 2. Okay, so this ended up being 4 over minus 3 plus 2. Okay, this is more of saying this time this is gonna be minus 6. Okay, so we have minus, okay, let's say this negative is here to make things simple. Okay, we have minus 4 here, we have 3 here, plus this times this is gonna be 6. All right, so this ended up being 2 over 3, which is 0.2. Okay, so 0.6 is something that can be here. So our second graph can be drawn like this. It's not drawn from scale, so it can look ugly. Right, so we're done with this graph. We said for straight line graph, since it's given by g of x equals to x plus 2, so this is our y-intercept, but x-intercept is gonna be 0 here, x here plus 2, meaning x is equal to negative 2. So it's gonna be negative 2 the x-intercept. So the graph will move like this from the left. I'm supposed to cut at 2. That's my mistake. Supposed to cut it here. Okay, but you won't do that mistake in your exam. So that is our graph. This is g of x, and this is f of x. Right. Yeah, we are done. We are pretty much done. Yeah, that's it for the graph. All right. All right. Let's check the following question. What is the following question? The next question. Determine the s-coordinate of the point of intersection of the two graphs. Okay. For the point of intersection, what do? We just equate these two graphs. We're gonna say f of x is equal to g of x and solve for x. That would be our answer. I'm gonna show how do they work out from the solution to save time, right? Let's come to this one. If alright. Alright, we were here. Okay, so we're here. If x is greater than or it's less than, is it less or it's less than 3? Determine the values of x for which f of x, for which this graph, if you look here, is f of x, for which f of x it's less than g of x, because this is just g of x, as you can see. So to do that, we have to go straight to the graph, where this graph lies below this one. Okay, let's come here. For which value of x is f of x lies below g of x? Okay, that's the question that we have to answer here. Okay. So this would mean that we need to determine even the value, the intersection here. Okay, let me explain this part at a later stage for you to not be confused, or I will have videos purely based on this one, because they have little marks, but somehow they can trick you, even though they cannot constitute so much marks to your whatever. Okay, let's come here. Let's come to your solution because of time. Okay. This is your x vertical asymptote, and this is your horizontal asymptote, as we said, and this is your x-intercept. Okay, you can determine it in whichever way that you are comfortable with. You can even leave it coordinate form. Okay. Here they were looking for what? Okay, this is your y-intercept. Did they ask y-intercept at any given point in time? Oh, they did here. So this is your y-intercept. Okay, so this is your y-intercept. So this is your graph, is exactly as ours, but remember here our graph was a bit short. If we can extend this graph, we can have a point of intersection there. Okay, that is fine, but it's exactly the same as this one. Let's go back here. Right, this is your graph. This is your vertical asymptote. That is an important thing to note first. And this is your horizontal asymptote, being a 2, and that 2 is also your y-intercept of g of x. Okay, yeah, your graph is like that. Okay. So they were asking for the x-intercept of point of intersection. We have 2 points of intersection, so even the values of x should be 2, right, like this. So you just equate the two graphs, make them equal, and solve them simultaneously. You get that answer. All right. Yeah, that's it for what to be covering today.